So we all, in our leisure time, free time, uh, watches movie, read books, some write articles, watch thing that is very, very private to us. And with the advent of time, what we have done is we have moved these activities into digital world. So we use tab, uh, laptop, or any digital device that is available with us, mobile device. And we do all these things with a very simple premise, is the word called as trust. We trust that all these things that we are doing on our devices, on this digital world, is not monitored by anybody, right? This is the premise on which we are doing it. And this is where the illusion shatters. I think Edward Snowden, I hope you guys know him, WikiLeaks founder, he said most of the government across the world are using advanced techniques for surveillance on their citizen on the digital world. Now, and you will agree with me that whenever, or it's a human psychology, I will say, that whenever we understand that someone is monitoring our actions, we'll behave differently, right? So if, I'm not sure how many of your students are working for a organization, uh, if you are in your, in your organization or in your college, how many of you will go and visit a site which is like prohibited? How many of us will open an adult site in an organization or in a school? Because we know someone is there monitoring us and going to catch us, right? So we behave differently when somebody is monitoring us. And why we behave? Because we understand if we get caught, there's a public naming and shaming of us, right? For example, few years back, I'm not sure, there was a very viral tweet went where a person on Twitter said to IRCTC, you know IRCTC, we all use for reservation of tickets on railway. And they said, sir, whenever I go to visit your site, on my screen, I see a lot of adult content. So IRCTC replied uh, that the content of your on your device, we use Google Ads and Google AdSense, basically. So we try to monetize if somebody is visiting my website, I'm trying to monetize. And what Google AdSense does, it understands your browsing history and it gives you those ads. Think about that person. He was publicly named and shamed across the world, right? Nobody will have the courage to do again similar comment for an organization, right? Now, all these things are coming from a very simple thing, that there's a classification or categorization of human being into two kinds, good and bad. Who are the bad guys? They are criminal, the thugs, the thieves, or the bad guys, or murderer, or terrorist. And what they do? They have everything to hide, right? They will do activities and they want to hide things from others, right? But the good people are good people. They have nothing to hide. Isn't that a principle that we have heard for so many years? If you're a good person, why you're worrying about data privacy? There should not be nothing to hide. Like the Google CEO, the ex-Google or the Google co-founder said, if you are doing something that you want not somebody to know, you should not be doing it in the first place. So, this is the premise which was used by people to protect or to advocate something against the privacy. The privacy was connected to a criminal activity. That if you are asking for privacy, you're doing something wrong. That correlation was made to go people against the word of privacy. But you will not believe the advocate of these words are the one who are doing things when it comes to their self. They were creating, like, they were great co-founder or founder of a big social media company. When he bought a house in California, he bought his house, big mansion, but he also bought 4 or 5 houses around it to ensure nobody sees or nobody intrude to his privacy. So the hypocrisy is great, right? Second, if you have heard of, I think the biggest advocate of privacy from an organization perspective is Apple, right? Apple advocate privacy like nothing. Like if you see, when you talk about privacy, they're the first organization that comes into mind. Last week, Apple was fined $95 million for doing what? You know, if you're using Apple, they have an app called as Siri. Siri is supposed to take voice command, but they were listening to our conversation while we are not giving them command. They didn't agree to this, but they were ready to pay $95 million for this. So, if you ask me, everybody who's sitting in this room, I believe, and tell me if you don't believe in or don't agree with me, everybody is a box of secrets. We all have secrets in our life. Some of these secrets are in our digital devices, with whom I chat, which website I visit, to whom I'm making the payment. Now, if something of these comes out or got shared with something unknown people, things can go wrong in my life or in somebody's life. The biggest example is, before the world of Tinder and Bumble, there was a site called as Ashley Madison. Have you heard of? One of the first dating, or I don't know, it's a dating site. They used to say it's discretionary relationship if you want to have. Come to this website, Ashley Madison. They got hacked around 5-7 years back. Data about 100,000 users of Ashley Madison was published, resulted in around 20 to 30,000 divorces across the world. So the consequence of data leak, of my privacy get compromised is huge. Another example, which I just is, in Africa, the data privacy laws are not that great. So what they do is, so there are loan applications which you install and take all the rights, and they will give you instant loan. And if you're not, and the loan interest rate is around 150%. So if you don't pay the first EMI next month, they start sending messages to everybody in the contact list that this guy has taken loan and he is not able to pay and he is going through a legal case. Imagine this happening with us. We may not go out of our house and meet those friends, right? Now, how they are able to do it? Because we don't care about our own data. And this is where the question that I'll pose you is, do you care about your own data? With this question, I'd like to welcome to this session on data privacy. I'm Devashish Pramanik. I'm co-founder of a company called SysTools and Privacy Shield. We are there for 15 years and focusing on data privacy for some years. Today's session is all about data privacy. I will say that you guys will become my ambassador, my agent for communicating the importance of data privacy to your network, community, or your friend circle. Increase the awareness of data privacy within your friend circle. Next time, if you are giving an Aadhaar card or sharing Aadhaar card number, please be careful. Before I start, I like to give tribute to somebody. His name is Justice K.S. Puttaswamy. We call him father of data privacy in India. He is the person who fought a case in Supreme Court in 2012. The judgment came in 2017, August 2017. And thanks to that judgment, Supreme Court gave right to privacy, right to privacy as a fundamental right to every citizen of this country, which forced the government of India to set up a committee to look into data privacy laws. Last week, I'm not sure whether you have heard of DPDP. So we'll talk about DPDP today. We have basically passed DPDP rule, and so the judgment of 2017 gave right to privacy as a fundamental right to every citizen of the country. A law was passed in August 2023 giving Digital Personal Data Protection Act as the rights given to every individual of the country. Now what it means, we'll just go and talk about that. It basically says respect people's right to privacy, right? It basically issues guidelines for organization to ensure how they treat your data in the right way. And if they are not doing it, they are answerable, accountable for that. One thing that happened, the bill got passed in 2023, but it is still not enacted, it is still not implemented. The rules came last week. On January 3rd, after a long wait, we got the rules of the DPDP Act published. We are expecting the DPDP law to get implemented by 1st of May is what we are expecting, that it will become a law in the country. Now, what I'll do is I'll take two aspects of it. From a personal perspective, what it means as an individual, and then I'll also go and talk about what it means as a professional DPDP law. Personal. Now, I'm not sure if these pictures make sense to you guys. Have you heard of that word called as digital arrest? Right? I give you an example. Do you know this stand-up comedian Ankita Srivastav? Chata, uska video बहुत viral हुआ था. Ankita Srivastav, one of the well-known stand-up comedian. Last month, before the show in Pune, she came, and on that night she went through this digital arrest where she paid 9 lakh rupees to those guys. So what this guy did, they called you and saying, sir, आपके लिए madam आपका एक FedEx का courier था. I think most of us got the call. I'm not sure. And वो courier ईरान जा रहा है और उसमें आपका आधार कार्ड issued है. तो मैडम आपके साथ आपने किया है. And I think you are getting money for that. And we are transferring your call from a FedEx or DT, जो भी courier company, to crime branch. And the crime branch person comes on the call and say, "Ma'am, you are now digitally arrested. आप phone off मत कीजिएगा, video पे रहिए. And we want to let us know how much money you have in your account, because we suspect that money is from that drug consignment that you have sent. And we have the number, but we want to know from you." So she gives exactly 4,82,000 something point some paisa, and say, "Okay, madam, now you have to read out for the last 6 months each and every transaction that you have done. So 40 rupees for chai, 100 rupees for this." She was reading out these instructions, and at middle point she said, "Madam, हमको लगता है आपका पैसा, the money doesn't. How do how do we trust that money is not coming from the transaction? So why not you save that money? हम उस पैसा को secure करना चाहते हैं. Transfer that money into RBI account. ये RBI का number है, आप transfer कर दिए." She transferred 4 lakh rupees that, and she started reading more pages. Then said, "मैडम, हमने और थोड़ी सी investigation की है. आपका 9 लाख का फाइन बनता है. आपके पास 9 लाख आए हैं, आपको 9 लाख देने पड़ेंगे." Now what she did, she took an instant loan of 5 lakh and paid 5 lakh to that person. This is, imagine the way we get so much, and the reason she could do it, before the call started, what they told to her was certain things about her which were very, very valid. They know exactly what's her bank account number, what's her Aadhaar card number. They have every details of the person before they're making a call. That means my data got compromised. As a result, there are people sitting in this room or in the world who are trying to trade that data for some crime or some money. And this is where the problem is. The reason why these people are able to do it, because they have my data. Like MNGL scam is very common. You will get a message, आपका MNGL connection रात को बंद हो जाएगा. We make a call and say, I paid the money, then why is this? And what I got to know is that, sir, ma'am, system में कुछ problem था, आप इस link पे click कर दीजिए, हम ठीक कर देंगे. So I say, okay, send me the link, I'll check it. He sent me an APK file. I think I'm from IT world, so I could understand APK file क्यों भेजेगा मुझे कोई? So I basically said, you are a fraud, so I stopped the call. But imagine people who are not aware of these jargons, and they may have gone to it. Okay? So these crimes are happening because our data has been sold to them, or they have access to this data without our permission. Or somebody is using, we have given this data to someone, and they have been selling this data to these people. Which basically means, this was a campaign. Okay, so these are the personal data. When I say a personal data, what is personal data? Anything that able to identify you. So what are the things that can identify you? Your Aadhaar card number, your PAN number, your passport number, your vehicle number, your mobile number, your email ID. These are your personal data, which is or identifier, which can easily identify you. Now there are something called as identifiable identifiers, where I can correlate multiple attributes or identify and say these three things ka matlab it belongs to this person. So I'll use correlation to correlate 4-5 attributes to say this information belongs to this person. Now all these data, apart from these identifiers, your behavior, your activities, like you're playing golf at 4 p.m. in some place is also a personal data. You driving car from this date, from this place to this, is a personal data. So it's not only identifier that makes something as personal data, your action, your behavior is also sometimes characterized as personal data. Now my request to you guys is, the way you treat your physical assets, your car, your bike, your home, as your physical assets, please start treating your data as an asset of yours. If a scratch happened to your bike or car, how do you feel? झगड़े हो जाते हैं रोड पे यार, right? Same way, if somebody is misusing your data, the same passion should come. You should get agitated and say how you can do that. Next time you get a call from a bank, from any other agency, which do you think I haven't? The first question that you should ask to those people, how you got my data? Something that you should ask. And with DPDP Act, it now gives you power as an individual to say, don't call me next time, erase my data. This was not possible in the pre-DPDP Act area, but now with DPDP Act, you can now question those organizations who is calling you, sending you email, giving you offers that how do you treat my data? Delete my data once it's been done. So have that, treat your personal data as an asset, and whenever you see a violation of your data, misuse of your data, treat it as a violation of your personal asset. Mumbai Police many years back did this campaign called as Mind Your Own Data. If you don't treat your data properly, the data, somebody will take advantage to make something out of it. So it is very, very important that treat your data, personal data, very, very diligently or very, very carefully. Think before sharing your data. Like for example, today you can question with the DPDP Act. I'm not sure, have you filled a form for coming here, like for this event? You must have filled the form, right? Now, I don't know what, I'm not sure what fields you have taken, name, organization name, city, email ID, phone number. Now they have taken this consent, and there must be a consent, I agree to term that I can use the data, so there has to be a consent. You can always go back and say, if this data was only for event, great. But if they're using this data to offer you something, then it becomes wrong. Second, always ensure you're only giving data that is required. अगर मेरे email ID से काम बन सकता है, why you need my phone number? Right? आपको मुझसे बात ही करनी है ना, तो email ID लो मेरा. You want to communicate with me? Take my email ID. Why you are taking my phone number? Ask this question. Share only data which is required. Okay? So this is very important, guys. Mumbai Police, very ahead of time. They did this Mind Your Own Data campaign. And request to everybody again, please make sure treat your personal data as an asset. Somebody sitting in Cambodia or Syria or Dubai or any other place from where this digital arrest or any other cyber crimes are happening are using your data. They convince you in the first 3 minutes, they convince you that they are the right person. Like I lost 3,000 rupees. I bought a car, and within 7 days, I got a call and saying, you have bought this car. I'm calling from Mahindra. You have bought this car. This is your car number. This is your dealer number. This is your model number. This is the color of the car. And you haven't taken an on-road insurance. So can I send you the on-road insurance? I said, yes. I didn't bother to check with my dealer saying, yaar, insurance mein ye kyun tumne chhod diya mera? And I paid the 3,000 rupees to that guy, came to know later that it was a fraud. Sometimes we all will get trapped into it. It's just the question is that start asking that question to whenever somebody is asking you something or offering you something. Power of correlation, as I said, there is something by which I can directly identify you by your Aadhaar card, by your PAN number. But there is something called as power of correlation where I can use multiple attributes to say these 3 things makes you this person. So there is a very known professor, Professor Latanya Sweeney from Harvard. She's been working on data privacy for more than 2 decades. And in her early days of her career, she did a very small experiment with a governor of a state in US. And she was able to find, and what she came with a philosophy was, or theory was, 87% of US citizens can be found, can be identified, or the word she used was re-identify using 3 attributes. And how she did it? She said she was given a data of medical records of a state, of a county, of a state government employee. So there's the state government of a state. There was a medical record which doesn't have the social security number, the name or anything. It only had the gender, it only had the date of birth and the zip code. These 3 things they have, plus the medical records. When I say medical records, कौन से test करवाए, कौन से doctor के पास visit किया, कब किया, सब data था उसका. So what she told that from the first glance, I cannot say this record belonged to me. But what she was able to identify, what she did, she found the electoral roll she spent $20 to get a list of voters in that area. And then she said, so she said to the governor, कि मैं आपका data निकाल के देती हूँ आपको. उसका date of birth निकाला उसने. And she found there are 6 people with that date of birth. Governor date of birth is a public record. You can find that. 6 record मिले. उन 6 record में 3 male थे. The governor was a male. So it boils down to 3. Now after that she said, out of this door, the zip code from where he stays, again uska address public hai, तो zip code मिल गया. She found the zip code and she said with 3 attributes, sir, this is your medical history. Within a minute, she didn't took almost like a days. Within a minute, she was able to identify the medical record of the governor of the state from the data, which was completely called as anonymized. You cannot identify which record belonged to whom. The government always published this record for research and study. And she said from these records, by using the power of correlation, I was able to identify. Now what is happening like here in power of correlation? I believe you must have gone, and I'm not the only one who has experienced this, what I'm listing out. You may have gone and visited Make My Trip and said, I want to book a hotel for, say, Goa, right? Okay. And what you get is, you go to YouTube, you starting getting ads for Goa, right? Now what is happening is, somebody is storing my data. So here what you giving example, I'm searching the nearby restaurant. I am searching restaurant. I'm chatting with my friend to gift something to my wife. I'm searching online of type of diamonds. I'm searching on old pictures of my wife. Somebody, and we call them as data brokers, who's able to understand these set of different data. And there are agencies now available for gift companies, specialized gifts. They give me a call and say, sir, आपकी anniversary next week है. This is a package for you to go to this restaurant, buy this diamond from Titan, and then this is the gift. I will make a completely special or personalized package for you to celebrate your anniversary. To me, it's a surprise, a shock. How did you know about all this? Because it is just information on my device. We all have gone through it, guys. There was a company called as Cambridge Analytica who was recording all our likes, dislikes of our Facebook page without we giving consent to them. And they were able to understand what is their political ideology for them. And they would then send those type of feeds to change their ideology. It was happening in US 2017 election, and Cambridge Analytica was then banned from business. So how these power brokers are becoming very, very critical, crucial, and how they are using our data. It is my data. I haven't given consent to my data to these guys. And what they are doing, they're selling this data without my consent, without even being known to me, to someone third party who's making money out of it. Okay? So this is the power of data. Now DPDP, what it gives you, that gives you two very, very important things. Consent and rights. What it's now saying is that anybody who takes your personal data has to take consent from you. It is a topmost first thing. If you haven't given consent, they cannot do anything or process your personal data. So whether it's a bank, whether it's a Shopper Stop, whether it's a Swiggy, everybody will start taking your consent when the act become enacted. They have to take consent again, in spite they have taken a consent in the past. Okay? So, and what are the rights given? Okay? So what is consent? It has to be freely given. Nobody should put a gun on you and say, give me consent. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. Consent has to be freely given. Second, it has to be very, very specific. आप किस लिए मेरा consent मांग रहे हो? आपको मुझे delivery करनी है. ठीक है. This is the purpose. आप कैसे कहाँ पर data, ये data किसके साथ share कर रहे हो आप? Swiggy is on AWS, suppose. So I'm sharing with Amazon Web Services. That has to also be informed to you. ये मेरा data किसके साथ share हो रहा है? आप क्यों use कर रहे हो? They have to be very, very specific why they are collecting your data. Okay? The consent cannot be reversible. Means, अगर आप, it should be reversible. अगर आपको consent दिया गया है, आपने दिया है, there should be a way to take away the consent in a simple manner. It should not be a complicated process. So a consent has to be taken back. It should be informed. There should not be any condition, or it should be unambiguous. It should be a very, very simple process to give consent and withdraw consent. Okay? When I say no, it basically means no. Unless I have said absolutely yes, the consent is not given to you. If I say maybe, I'm sleeping and giving you consent, it is not acceptable. Okay? So consent has to be yes, absolutely yes. I think I correlate to the movie Pink. No means no. So consent, if you're not giving consent, nobody can use your personal data against your wish. The rights. I have the now right with DPDP Act to ask the bank what personal data of me you are storing. To anybody, not bank, anybody. Who is taking your personal data? You have the right to ask that organization what data you have stored of me. You can have the right to update or modify your data. You have a right to erasure, means delete कर सकते हो आप. Right of grievance. अगर कोई complaint है, you can complain about a violation, about your data being misused to a board. And the last is right to nominate. अगर आपकी death हो जाती है, मेरे data का क्या होगा? So I can nominate my kids, they can take care of my data. Example है, यहाँ पर अगर आप देखोगे, तो यहाँ I agree is by default. Classic example of Facebook. सारे rights enable कर दिया था आपके आज से 8-7 महीने पहले. Same thing. So if somebody is asking you consent, it has to be explicit. कोई default नहीं हो सकता. If somebody is giving a default, they are not a good company to transact with. Some of the example I just do. Okay. Now, if you are a professional and you are working, and if you're collecting personal data, make sure there's a concept called as take whatever data is required, don't take which is not required. The way, I think there's a concept called security by design. The new word is privacy by design. Okay? So please have privacy. If you are collecting a personal data as part of your day-to-day job, please make sure you understand what you have to follow now. Okay? I'll just skip. So before I end, I want to say that please, if you're sharing your Aadhaar card, any personal data, the bell should ring in you. Why you are sharing, to whom you are sharing, how they will use it. You have the right to ask question now. Okay? So thank you, everyone. I hope this was insightful for you guys. Thank you. I hope I'm within the time.
Yeah,
huh?
the floor is open for questions.
Let's say I'm working for a company, we provide services, and somehow like I managed to collect PII data in my email, and the user has consented, like they want to take it back, like what should I do? It's in email. Yeah. Yeah, the user has said like he doesn't want the data to be with us.
You have to delete the data. If the user has said, delete my data, it has to be deleted in on form, and then you have to inform the user that I had deleted the data, and there is no such data with me now.
Okay, thank you.
So there exceptions are there, like employee data or any legal basis for which data has to be there for some years. You have to keep the data. Otherwise, you should not have any data which is not required. This doesn't applies to if you're taking data from your friend. So personal data, household data, it doesn't come under this premise. Huh? Like for example, I give you in EU, GDPR, very, very stringent law. India's thoda sa bhi theek hai, but GDPR is very stringent. The way they have been punished is like, you must have seen this email coming to you, जहाँ आपके साथ कुछ 50 लोग 2 में रहेंगे, CC में रहेंगे. Okay? And those CC people have nothing to do with you, but that guy has sent a mail to everybody, I'm leaving tomorrow. So from tomorrow, somebody is my manager. Your relationship manager is this guy. Now, the EU has punished those people. That you are sharing somebody's personal data without the consent to somebody else, so it is a punishable act. Another example, हम लोग सर्वे वो लगाए सीसीटीवी कैमरा लगाते हैं, राइट? इन ईयू मेरा घर है, मैंने अपने घर में सीसीटीवी कैमरा लगाया है. Now by some reason, some of the camera is taking feed from my neighbor house. The neighbor complained and the guy had to pay maybe £100, but they had to pay a fine. So this is again, so everything matters. Somebody is taking footage of you and putting it on the website without your consent is a violation now. Yes, sir.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
So my question was about the excess amount of information we sometimes have to fill in, right? For if we are applying anything. So for example, if we are filling any form, so the amount of information which is collected, sometimes it is excess than the requirement, right? So how do we avoid it? Let's say you said that we have right to ask that question, that why you are collecting this information, but sometimes there's no provision to avoid that. We have to accept that if we want to proceed. Otherwise, we have to take the action back. So in this kind of situation, we have no other way than to share that information. If it is needed or not, that's not the question, but we have to share that information. So the question is, how can we what action we can take against this? And then once that task is completed, the purpose is fulfilled, let's say, what is the action we can take in order to control our data, in order to control that data to be propagated or to be shared again to some other.
So there are two questions, right? First question is, if somebody is taking more data from me, which is not required, what I can do. You see a lot of big change in India happening in next 6 months. This is being pushed to every organization. जितना data आप लोगे, उतना compliance आपका बढ़ेगा. So compliance will increase. The more data you take, which is not required, and if you've taken, you have to meet those compliances. So you'll see in next 6 months, lot of organizations will start minimizing, like what we are doing now. We are publishing our contact us form next week, which will only have email ID and country. हमको आपका नाम भी नहीं चाहिए, आपका phone number भी नहीं चाहिए. And you'll see this change happening across it. Because as I said, we cannot do, because it is not illegal to take data, right? They're taking for whatever reason. They want to try to make the best offer for you. But now with the DPDP, with the compliance increasing, there are chances that all these guys will start reducing the form size. Second question was,
After the action is completed,
so what will happen? Every organization in the country, small, medium, large, anybody, they have to publish on their website or any place, whenever they can consent, how to exercise the right. So they will send you the link. अगर आपको update करना है, ये link है. अगर आपको delete करना है, तो ये link है. So you know exactly, when the purpose is solved, where to go and request to deletion of the data. So every organization will have this portal, and this is called as subject access request. So हम उसको हमारे terminal में इसको SAR कहते हैं, subject access request. Every organization has to publish this as part of their notice or consent or in the website. So you'll see this change happening very soon in next 6 months. Yeah.